Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Saramniti Mafayas, and today I would like to present about ecosystem services. So, what is an ecosystem services? Ecosystem services or eco services are defined as goods and services provided by ecosystems to humans. Per the 2006 Millennium Ecosystem Assessment (MA), ecosystem services are the benefit people obtain from ecosystems. This MA also delineates the four categories of ecosystem services, which is supporting, provisioning, regulating, and cultural. Without further ado, I would like to focus on regulating system. Ecosystems provide many of the basic services to make life possible for people. Plants clean air and filter water, bacteria compost waste, bees pollinate flowers, and tree roots to hold soil in place to prevent erosion. All these processes work together to make ecosystem clean, sustainable, functional, and resilient to change. Regulating services is the benefit provided by ecosystems processes that moderate natural phenomena. Regulating services include pollination, decomposition, water purification, erosion and flood control, and carbon storage. These are the examples of regulating services that can be found in Baywalk track in UMT. The first picture is palm trees, the second one is mosses, and the third one is pollinators. Mangroves are the world's biggest importance in ecosystem. Healthy mangrove forests are hotspots of biodiversity, cornerstones of climate resilience, and source of livelihoods for coastal communities worldwide. For many communities, mangroves are the first line of defense for flooding and storm events. Mangrove forests are also productive habitats for shrimp, crabs, and many species of fish, which are caught by small-scale fishers and distributed within local communities. Every year, mangrove systems prevent more than 65 billion money in property damages and reduce flood risk to some 50 million people. These are the benefits of regulating. The first one is local climate air quality. Ecosystem influence the local climate and air quality. For example, trees provide shade while forests influence rainfall and water availability both locally and regionally. Trees or other plants are also play an important role in regulating air quality by removing the pollutants from the atmosphere. The second one is moderating of extreme events. Ecosystems and living organisms create buffers against natural disasters. They reduce the damage of floodings, storms, tsunamis, avalanches, landslides, and droughts. The third one is erosion prevention and maintenance of soil fertility. Vegetation cover prevents soil erosion and ensure the soil fertility through the natural biological processes such as nitrogen fixation. Soil erosion is a key factor in process of land degradation, loss of soil fertility, and desertification, and contribute to decrease the productivity of downstream fishes. The fourth one is pollination. Insects and wind pollinate plants and trees, which is essential for the development of fruits, vegetables, and seeds. Animal pollination is an ecosystem service mainly provided by insects but also by some birds and bats. In agroecosystems, pollinators are essential for orchards, horticultural and forage productivity, as well as productivity of seeds for many roots and fiber crops. Pollinators such as bees, birds, and bats affect 35% of world's crop productivity, increase outputs of around 75% of the leading fruit and food crops worldwide. The last one is regulating of water flow. Forests influence an amount of water available and the timing of water delivery. Stream flow regulation by forests is the result of processes in forest canopy, on the surface and below the ground. A combination of interception, transpiration, evaporation, evapotranspiration, and infiltration. Accordingly, sustainable forest management is the key to the regulating of water flows. So what the effect to nature if regulating is not exist? Floodwaters can alter the landscape, for instance, by eroding the riverbanks and causing them to collapse. As what floodwaters carries material from the eroded banks, it suspends the sediments in the water, which can degrade the water quality and leads to harmful blooms of algae. Erosion and sedimentation have a more negative impact on ecosystems that are already degraded or heavily modified. Although it causes damage to trees and lands, floods can bring new life to wetlands. Floods can be destructive to humans and the natural environment, but they can also help to drive another biodiversity and are essential to functioning of many ecosystems. Whether we regard floods are as good or bad, another thing is for certain, the world would be very different place without them. Why do we need to protect these ecosystem services? Understand the nature in economic terms, why not perfect allow us to put everything into the same comparison unit? Despite nature being such an integral part of human existence, it is sometimes an afterthought in today's economy. Nature and money are often took on competing terms, so to make a more level playing field, environmental economists have tried to bridge this gap by placing a monetary value on the benefit nature provides. The second one, the foundation for sustainable development. Ecosystem services help measure the true cost of industrial development. Often, the impact industrial development has on the economy and job creation overshadows the cost it will have on surrounding lakes, forests, seasonal species, and so on. Assigning a dollar value to these lakes and forests and the ecosystem services they provide helps to adjust the cost-benefit analysis by evaluation the negative effect development will have on the natural environment. The third one is essential for our survival. As a society, we depend on healthy ecosystems to do many things to purify the air so we can breathe properly, sequester carbon for climate regulation, cycle nutrients so we have access to clean drinking water without costly infrastructures, and pollinate our crops so we don't go hungry. As the world population continues to grow, so too does our dependences on healthy ecosystems to provide the necessities essential to our survival. By clearly understanding their value, we can make the best and most informed decisions about how to manage our landscape to ensure this value isn't lost. That's all for me. Thank you.